Well, the most dramatic incident, as you mentioned, was the attack on the Dallo family. They live in Jabaliya refugee camp. This is on the eastern flank of the Gaza Strip, and it's really suffered during the most recent escalation. There's been a lot of attacks on Jabaliya. A lot of civilian deaths have occurred in that area. Now, Al Jazeera went down there to take a look, to take some video, and as you can see from the footage, this multi-storey apartment building was really levelled to the ground, completely destroyed. Earth-moving equipment was sent in to start trying to dig out bodies, to remove the dead and try and find injured survivors. Medical sources are telling us that 30 people from that family have been injured. So a very difficult day in Jabaliya. We also know in Jabaliya earlier today in the morning, 2 people were killed in an airstrike. So a lot of attacks, and the Gaza Health Ministry is saying 69 people in total, and 20 of them are children. 8 of them are women. So the civilians are paying a very heavy toll in the escalation so far.
And Nicole, with a number of media buildings being hit and journalists being wounded, what does this now mean for journalists who are trying to get the story out of Gaza?
Well, the Israeli government has issued a warning. The Israeli army has told journalists to keep away from any Hamas-affiliated buildings, to not go near those buildings because they are clearly a target in this current conflict. Having said that, the government is still allowing journalists into Gaza, which is a very different situation from the 2008-2009 war. So I crossed into Gaza today. There were probably 40 or 50 journalists heading into Gaza. So there are a lot of people here trying to cover the conflict. But let me bring you up to speed on what's going on at the moment. Over the last couple of hours in Gaza, there's been a very heavy bombardment in the north of the Gaza Strip and the east. Now, these are Israeli airstrikes. They're really occurring about every 10 or 15 minutes, sometimes even more often than that. Huge, loud booms can be heard across Gaza City. And these airstrikes are occurring in the buffer zone. Usually this is an area of empty land on the Gaza side of the border. The problem with the buffer zone is, though, it's only a few kilometres wide, and it's close to towns like areas like Jabaliya refugee camp, Beit Hanun, and to the east, Jazeera. So civilians who live in that area are really would really be feeling it at the moment, because the bombing is being carried out right next to those areas.